Good morning, everyone. My name is Rabbi Director of Pastoral Care here at Gurwin Jewish. I hope everyone had a wonderful week as we continue our virtual Oneg Shabbat series. This week we will talk about more of the story of Abraham, Avram Avinu, and his journey in life, as well as other important notes to note in the calendar, coming up holidays in the future months. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlochim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. This week's Torah portion, Parshat Vayera, begins with a discussion about Abraham's eagerness and really his inner desire to teach people about God. It's mentioned he had a tent open on all four sides, and whenever passerbys would come, he'd invite them in and do the mitzvah of Nasat Orchim, inviting guests to his home. And he would invite them in, and he would feed them and wine them and dine them to get them in a certain mood, state of mind. And then they would thank him for the food, and he would say, "You're thanking me? Am I the one who really created the food? Am I the one who made the animals grow? Am I the one who made the vegetables and the fruit grow on the trees? It's God. You should thank God." And through this, he was able to teach many, many people to believe in God and to thank God. And at one point in time, Abraham had visitors, angels that were coming to give Abraham and his wife Sarah wonderful news. They came and they revealed themselves as angels, and they said, "We are sent here from God, and you're going to have a child in a year from now." Abraham at the time was 99 years old, his wife 89 years old. And although people in those days and age lived much longer lives, Abraham lived to 175 years old. But still, even if that's the case, be told at 99 years old, you're going to have a child, a little bit unusual. So Abraham and Sarah, they laughed at the prospect of having a child at such an elderly age. And yet we know a year later, the Torah tells us that a son was born, and they named the son Yitzchak, which means laughter, to remind themselves of when they laughed at the prospect of having a child. And the question is that this seems a little bit unusual. They laughed they're going to have a child. They didn't believe God. And then they named the child after that disbelief. You would think that it was not a very positive thing that they did, laughing at God. They laughed in God's face, and then we're going to name our child after this laughter? The answer is no, we have to look at it from a different perspective. They laughed, but they didn't necessarily laugh because they didn't believe God could do it. They didn't believe in themselves and their worthiness of the act. So when they laughed and we named their child Yitzchak, Isaac, after this laughter, it's not because God was right and we were wrong. It's not focusing on the fact that we laughed, we didn't believe in God. It's focusing on the fact that we see truly sometimes what we think we deserve or what we think God is going to give us ends up not being that way. And that evokes laughter, and that is the name Isaac, named after that laughter itself. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad eshmiyanu gelam yuchad Hashem echad u'shmo echad l'shemol zeferes v'lesila lechad odi l'kras kala b'nei Shabbos nekabela Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Eshmiyanu kelam yuchad Hashem echad u'shmo yachad l'shemol zeferes v'lesila lechad odi kras kala b'nei Shabbos nekabela mikdash melech ir melucha kumitei mitay ha'afecha ravlach shaves Yemek habachav yachamol alayechem lalechad odi kras kala b'nei Shabbos nekabela hisnari miyafar kumi le'evshi b'gdei zevardei chami al yad ben yishavei salachmi Harva nafshige ala lechad odi lekras kala Nei Shabbos nekabela Hisariri Kiva ahordeku mi yori Shir damei ring avod Hashem Layech nigla lechad odi lekras kala Nei Shabbos nekabela Lo se voshi velo si komi Mahate shochachi umatemi v'hal yesu ani yeyami v'nivnesa ha'ir al tila lecha dodi Kras kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Hayolim shisa shahos hayech V'rachak ogame v'halayech Nasis alayech Eloi kayech Ke'em tzoitzcha sana al kala alecha dodi Kras kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Bowi b'shalom atares malah Gamberina uvitzahala tochemune am segula Bowi kala lecha dodi lekras kala B'nei Shabbos nekam bila. At the end of this week's portion, we have the dramatic story of the binding of Isaac. Abraham, after living a whole life of service to God, God gives him one final test, really for Abraham to prove to himself how close he is and how connected he is. And the test is he's told he should bring his only son Isaac up to a certain mountain, Mount Moriah, and slaughter his son as a sacrifice to God. And although logic dictated that this made no sense at all, after all, he was his only son, and God promised many generations of children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, offspring from this one child of his. And the fact that human sacrifice is certainly something frowned upon, and is the ways of the pagan idol worshippers. So why in the world would God ask Abraham to do so? But Abraham didn't question God. He said, if God told me to do so, I will do so, and I'll do so happily. And the day came and he went up, traveled up a mountain with his son Isaac. And he got to the top of the mountain, and Isaac said, where is the sacrifice? Father, you told me we were going to bring a sacrifice. And then Abraham indirectly told Isaac he will be the sacrifice. And Isaac agreed as well in this act of God. And Abraham was about to slaughter him. Literally, the knife was by his throat. And God called out to him and said, please stop. I see how much devotion you have to myself. And then out of the corner came a ram, and the ram was slaughtered instead of Isaac. And the story is very dramatic because, once again, it didn't make any sense. Why would God tell Abraham to slaughter his only son when God promised Abraham that you will see generations and generations of people from this one son of yours? And the answer is that in life, sometimes things don't make any sense. We don't know the reason why. We don't know why things happen, and we question why things happen. But we have to understand everything happens for a reason, even when we don't understand. And as soon as we realize that in our own life, we'll feel more connected to God, and we won't question the ways God runs the world. Lies nasa bechev so kol azay melech shemo nikra v'yacharei gechlos hakol levahado yimloch nora ohaya v'hohovem v'yihye b'sifara v'hoechod v'yein sheni amshila lehachvira Li reishis v'li zachlis v'la ha'oz v'hamisra v'hu keili v'chai go'ali Tzorchev li b'yeis nasa u'nisi u'manosli v'nas kosi b'yom ekra v'yahado avkid ruchi Yeis ishon v'yahira Yemruchi geviyasi Adoshem li v'lo ira. Have a happy and healthy Shabbat, a great weekend. We'll see everybody next week.